As some of you may be aware, at the weekend, at the end of my grand tour, I went to Manchester. And my mate said, let's not drive. Let's get train, whatever. Do your own work. So I did. And what I discovered was what most people know, but nevertheless, it's worth having a discussion about it. Trains in this country are a rip-off. Except they're even more of a rip-off than you might ever have imagined. Now, we're told constantly by the net zero people, whoever they are, Mr. Ed Millipede, that we need to get out of our cars and we need to get off the plane and we need to use public transport, buses, trams, trains, to get around the country, because that's the only way we can stop the polar ice caps from melting. Except the polar ice caps aren't melting. They've actually gained mass by 1.5 billion tonnes in the past year. But don't worry about that. That's because Doreen in Stoke is driving a Nissan Leaf to school every day. So, I've decided we'll have a go at the train. So, we've got to get from St Austell to Manchester. Now, a bit of local knowledge. We've got two railways down this way. We've got Cross Country and GWR. That's about it for us. And if you're going up that way, it's Cross Country. If you're going that way towards London, GWR. Other railways are available. So the first thing I did was go on the Cross Country website to see how much it was to book a ticket direct with them. So as you can see, from St Austell to Manchester Piccadilly, 7th of June, 9th of June, all the same times. Everything's done on the same parameters. Here's what we had first up. Now you'll notice that 481 quid. Depending on what train you come home, 409 quid. First class, 941 quid. But the average for booking a train out is £81.60p. So, what we got to do now... Oh, sorry, it's not, because you got fees to pay. So it's 484 quid. So there you have it, 484 quid. What a bargain for 2 return tickets to Manchester. Now, I've done this based on the 7th of June, Saturday 7th of June, coming back Saturday, Monday 9th of June. That way, it avoids all the holidays. It's not in Whitsun Bank holiday. It's just a normal day of the week, just like the last weekend that we did was. So all the train prices, all the ticket prices are virtually identical. So it's 484 quid. Then I thought, we'll go on GWR. Same thing again, exactly the same parameters. Hit search, and let's see what comes up this time. GWR is notoriously slow. Oh, look at that. What are the chances? 484 quid. Now that's handy, isn't it? 2 different train companies, both exactly the same price. What are the chances? It's almost like there's price fixing going on. But no, can't be that, because it's a free market. So, 484 quid again. That's still not a bargain. £242 each for what is a 5-hour drive in a car that, with a nice diesel, call it 600 mile round trip. So call it 700 if you want. Call it 700 miles. 45 to the gallon. What's that? Let's call it 20 gallon. Round it all up. Let's be generous. 20 gallon, £6 a gallon, 120 quid in fuel. 484 quid. Yes, you've got the convenience of the train. Except it's not really convenient, because it takes 3 hours longer than driving, and you have to change twice or 3 times depending on which train you get. So I decided to do it on the 808 train from St Austell in Cornwall up to Manchester, and I've done the same thing for everything. So then I went on Trainline, my preferred train ticket purchasing website. And as you can see, exactly the same thing again, except it's 100 quid cheaper. Well, £102.20 cheaper, to be precise, for the sake of using a different website. So not a lot of effort needed there, was there? Yeah, you can save 100 quid. And then, just for shits and giggles, I went on Train Pal, which claims that it splits tickets better than Trainer. It's a lottery. Some days it does, some days it doesn't. You just never know. I mean, it literally is Russian roulette when you're buying train tickets these days. So here's what Train Pal said. And as you can see, £389, £472. Well, actually, the one that I want is £472.55p. Then, depending on which train you get home, you might get a bit off that. But it works out roughly 384 quid. Virtually the same as the other one was, give or take a quid or two. So there you have it. Using a third-party website, you can knock 100 quid off it. We're now down to 384 quid. What a bargain for 2 train tickets at the weekend to go to Manchester and back. 384 quid. So then I got creative, because what annoys me is that for your average layman in the street, and particularly, and I don't want to be ageist, but for example, my auntie would just walk over to the station and say, I'd like a return ticket, please. And whatever the price was that came up on that screen is what she'd pay. Regardless, it won't be the cheapest, because no station will give you the cheapest ticket. They will just give you the return ticket for the journey that you want. So 384 quid. Right, get creative. Got creative. And split the journey up into singles. So I managed to get it that if you go via Wales to Manchester, it's cheaper. Takes the same amount of time as going via Birmingham, but if you whip over to Newport, go back on yourself, and then wait an hour, and then go up to Manchester that way, it's cheaper and takes about the same amount of time. Yeah, I haven't gone into it. I was bored by this point. So I then get it down to 220 quid. And you think, well, that's 264 quid cheaper than buying a ticket. Yes, it is. But it gets better than that. And the reason it gets better than that is that net zero is obviously bollocks. It must be, because they're trying to discourage people from using planes. And here's where I cashed in big time. So we got the train on Saturday, 8 hours, stopped at Tiverton, stopped at Newport, went to the world's worst Wetherspoons. That one in Newport. You want to go in a stereotype of Wetherspoons? Get yourself to whatever, the John something, out of Newport station, turn left, cross the road, right there. 2 cheap pints, and probably several diseases. And off we went again on the train up to Manchester Piccadilly, done. Left home 8 minutes past 8, got in Manchester Piccadilly about 4:30. So what's that, 8 hours and 20 minutes. Yeah, that's a long time. Coming back, could have done the same again for the same money, no different. However, here's the way of doing it. Go on EasyJet, book yourself a flight from Manchester to Newquay. It takes 45 minutes, and this one that we had cost us 55 quid. But on the 9th of June, the dates that I'm looking at, here it is. There you go. 43 quid. 43 quid. Takes an hour. Bang. You're home way before the train. And actually, I think we landed quite early. We were meant to land 25 past 4. We landed 4:15. I was home by 4:45. Job done. So the quickest and cheapest way to get from Manchester to Newquay is using a plane. Now, how does that make any sense in the world that we apparently live in, where we're being told to have less holidays, fly less, unless you're in a private jet, of course that doesn't count, and use buses and trains and everything else, and yet that is the most expensive way to travel. There is no more expensive way to get to Manchester from Cornwall than on a train. It's the most expensive way. I mean, you get a bus, take about a fortnight, get a couple of mega buses, might only cost you 20 quid. It certainly wouldn't cost you 484 quid for 2 people. So it would be less. So the most expensive way to travel in this country is the way they want us all to travel. Now, if that doesn't tell you that they don't want you to travel, what does? But what I don't understand is, if they don't want you to travel and they don't want you to use planes, why are planes so bloody cheap? It's brilliant. It's absolutely brilliant. And it was superb. EasyJet was superb. In, out, Manchester Airport, lovely. I think we got there like 1:30. So even if we take our full journey from leaving Manchester on the train from Piccadilly, it was like £6 for the 2 of us. We had a tram before that, £2. And then we got the plane home. Total journey time, 4 hours, half what it was on the train, and a quarter the price. Future my arse. I mean, it don't even warrant future my arse. It's way worse than that. It is the great train robbery. And if you've whipped back to the beginning of the video and have a look at first class prices, £1,000. £1,000 to travel first class. Now, if you've never travelled first class on the train, you're missing nothing. Certain trains, you get a slightly bigger chair. Certain trains, you don't. You just get the standard chair, but there's only 3 seats in a carriage instead of 4. So you get more room, but you don't have a bigger chair. But some of them do recline, nearly that much. Some of them don't. And you're meant to get complimentary refreshments. But due to staff shortages, or due to a crew change, or due to whatever excuse they come up with, half the time you don't even get that. So you're paying over £1,000. 2 flights to Dubai for the privilege of sitting in a slightly bigger chair to go to Magic. It's just lunacy. It's just mental. But nevertheless, still doesn't compare with the time we came home from London. And this is still my favourite journey we've ever done. We could have flown, we could have caught the train on the Sunday from London back to St Austell for £135 each. We could have flown direct from Gatwick to Newquay for £126 each. But you got to get creative. So I had a look at Ryanair and we did it. We went from Gatwick to Dublin. We had 2 hours in Dublin, just enough for 1 pint of Guinness by the time you walk the mile from the stand into the terminal and then back out again. And then we flew from Dublin down to Newquay. We got home before the direct flight and it cost us a grand total, and I could show you the receipts, of £34 each. So you could get the environmentally friendly way of doing it. There's all net zero friendly and everything else. And just get on the train and pay £136 each. And it'll take you 4.5 hours to get home on a good day with no strikes, no delays, nothing else. And a direct train. And those are getting far and few between these days. Or you could fly to another country. And let's not forget, Dublin's in the EU. We are no longer in the EU. So guess what? You get duty free. So my flight cost £34 for the 2 flights to get me home. And while I was in Dublin, I went to duty free and bought 5 pouches of JPS Baccy for £44. 1 pouch is currently for sale in my spar shop down the road for £35. So I basically got 4 pouches of Baccy for free on top of the bargain price of my flight. Now that is the future of travel right there. That's genius. That is ticking all the boxes. So make it make sense, because it doesn't make any sense, does it? You're trying to get us to stop doing all these things, but it's the best way of doing things. It's the cheapest way. It's the most fun. It's the easiest. It's the quickest. And you get duty free. So anytime you're thinking of doing an internal flight in England, my advice to you is check Ryanair and see if you can go via Dublin. Your quid's in. Literally, if you think 1 pouch of Baccy is £35 and I paid £34 for my flight, I'm already £1 up. I'm already £1 before I get the other 4. Now that is why I coined the phrase future my arse. Because the train, future my arse. Planes, the things that apparently are causing the polar ice caps not to melt, not the future. The whole country is on its arse. It's absolutely mental. So, in case any of you out there that go, oh, I don't believe him, he's talking crap again. I've shared all the screenshots. I've done everything. I've documented the whole thing. If you want, I can send you my receipts. But nevertheless, it happened. Future, my arse.